Well, hello. We're back for another video, another reaction. This time for episode 3 of Attack on Titan Season 3, Part 2. Been a while since I posted the last video. Um, I didn't really have the time to do so, so I'm recording it now. Hopefully, this will be up very soon. And I want to say sorry beforehand because there's a lot of planes passing overhead right now. Uh, I already stopped recording 3 times. Just this introduction. This is my third try because a plane always shows up, but this is the time I have to record. So with plane or without plane, it's gonna be now or never. Okay, so let's go right into the episode, I guess. Those slow motion shots are so hard to animate. And they're really hard to look good, which it does here. Every time I watch this, it gets sillier. The argument that you shouldn't watch the OP because it's spoilerish. Decent. Because things are out of context. There are panels with meanings of their own in the context of the opening. That's when he was bouldering. It was put in the boulder. Oh, it's their perspective. Nice. Oh, shit. This is what happened to Marco. Yeah, he knows. He knows he's fucked. He was pretty smart. Damn. Evil race. And that's when Runner broke. Yeah. There he is. Damn. So this is really like a military thing. They pass on the powers. So this means there's succession, right? Heritage, maybe. What? What a what a beautiful creature. And he is indeed smart. Hmm. Yeah. This isn't much of a run, is it? That's nice. It's a military bond that eventually intertwined with the male bond. That's oh shit. Well, he could have done the consciousness thing again. Yeah. He's calling. He's giving the signal. You give him time to signal. Oh. But oh, he's gonna toss him inside. And if he turns in the air, it's gonna be a huge blow. That's gotta be the plan. He's gonna hesitate. He's gonna go for Reiner. There's a bond there, man. There's the mission, but there's the connection too. Wow. Oh, through the entire Titan. So his whole life now is in the Titan. Interesting. He's got the resolve too. Can he actually accomplish anything? Is that gonna work again? Oh, no. He's over it. Okay. Ooh. He's got some skills. He's in a battle mindset. He's not gonna be taken down easily. That was amazing. He did something about Reiner already, man. Maybe he took him out of there. Yeah, that was very interesting. What an amazing twist to this song. Holy shit. This is gonna do it. And this song, man. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is beautiful. This is the climaxes that brought me here. Those are the climaxes that brought me here. He vaporized people. Just straight out a nuke. Irvin's hand was really small in that shot. Mm. I don't think they would go out like this, but wow, he looks so gigantic. Is he taller than the wall on his knees? It's perspective, right? He's already regenerating. Did he kill everyone else? No, he can just thrash the entire place and make it inhabitable. Wow. It's now or never. Ooh, things are looking dire. He doesn't know what to do. That's an amazing sight. Not for him, obviously. Kemono no Kyojin. Look at this smug MF. Ooh, what an episode. Shit. Wow. So this was episode 3. Very intense episode. Very intense, very dramatic, very intense episode. I I really loved. I really loved the thing, the whole Berthold bit. He pushed it even further. That discussion, that thing I was talking about, well, about Reiner, about the mindset, about how all this conditioning of battle, this conditioning for war comes into play at comes to play in limitrof borderline situations like this, and it's very interesting because Berthold was always, as he described himself, was very meek, timid, shy, quiet, distant. I think that that could be very very much related to his personality. Uh, Not considering this whole thing of infiltration, of espionage, and all of that. But it could be that it could be his way to cope with the mental pressure, with the psychological pressure to be in the position he was. Each one reacts in a different way. Anye was still the one, I think, that took her task, that carried her mission and her duty to the limits without ever breaking, without ever getting to the edge and nearly failing, mostly because of her feelings, of her emotional behavior. She The numbers she did on the woods, man, she killed a lot of people relentlessly. You you would never guess that she's that shy girl who's always in internal conflicts, who doesn't really seem to enjoy killing when she's out of her titan, at least, with a strong tie to the past in the form of her father. So yeah, and we had Reiner, obviously, who's the one that broke. He got split. He had a dissociative disorder. He he got lost in his task. He got attached to the people. He he didn't want to carry out his duty anymore sometimes, and sometimes he would switch and put the mission at risk even. Uh, and other times he was the one who would impersonate this leader, this relentless soldier, very committed to the duty, like he did with the Marco episode, which we saw in the beginning of this episode. Uh, yeah, he was playing a role there clearly, because when he wasn't, he acted as though he was very much a veteran. He was very much used to it, and he had the mindset and the mental conditioning, everything preparing him to carry out such extreme measures as such as killing someone close, just because their work, their duty, their mission was at risk. He acted as if, but not really, because when it actually happened, when someone dear to him, when someone he cared about died brutally in front of him because of what he did, he directly did it. He was directly his responsible for it. He broke. He couldn't handle it. The stress was too big, and it crashed his personality, his pose, his act. And Berthold, on the other hand, was always this self-collected, chill dude, always in the back. Uh, and Reiner even touches upon that, talking that he never really relied on Berthold. He never thought of Berthold as reliable. That's because that's the clothing that Berthold chose to have during this mission, to be this detached guy, you know, timid, and it worked for him to an extent. He's not the one who compromised the mission, but he always knew that he needed to step up. He needed to put up at least at least for a little bit, the same pose, the same act that Reiner was putting. And I don't know if it's the stakes. I don't know if the fact that they know Annie is probably in danger, is probably captured. Um, I don't know what it was, but he find that resolve. He find that willingness to act and commit to the mindset of battle, to the mindset of duty, to the mindset of war. And what we saw here was someone completely detached. He was over not only his bonds, not only his shy personality. He put all those things aside and fully committed to doing his job without thinking about it. And that's an interesting commentary war, about we 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 see a lot of the conjectures, of the thoughts, of the fears, of everything that involves our main characters as they go into dire, dangerous situations. Um, and there's always this dynamic, you know, of the human behind the soldier. And here we saw what this deep conditioning that they went through resulted in. This capability, uh, this they pushed Bertel to the point in which he finally detached from everything. He gave up on his fears about Annie. He was even willing to sacrifice Reiner. You know, I think seeing Reiner like that's what really pushed him. I mean, look what they did to him. They are not the kids. They're not. They understand we're at war better than I am understanding it so far. So at that point, I think he turned he turned into this very straightforward soldier, willing, knowing that he has the power to to change the game. And it's very interesting when you get to this point, when you're detached, when you play like you got nothing to lose except the mission, except the accomplishment that brought you here. When you're in that much of a commitment, when you're that deep in this kind of mindset, that's when people get most most dangerous the most, when they are uh, with this obstinacy to accomplish things. And that speech he gave as he was rising up in the sky with that amazing, amazing new track. I mean, it's the same track, right? It's not new. I don't know if it was introduced in their first transformation at the wall in season two, but I heard this song already a few times. I even heard it on YouTube. He recommended me sometime, and I know this song was already a thing, but it had some twist to it. There was some lyrics, some voice, and it was amazing. It fitted amazingly in that scene, and it further reinforces why Attack on Titan is one of the best shows in orchestrating action, in orchestrating the tension, you know, putting the pieces where they have to be, and calling elements exactly at the right moments. And it never feels like over the top, you know. It always feels perfectly balanced, perfectly in perfectly matching with the tone, with the maturity, environment of the whole surrounding. So they did it again. They did it again fantastically. Um, and to couple with that, they made a very flashy transformation. I didn't know that the Colossal Titan had the power to do a blast like that, because that couldn't have been just his falling, right? Even though he's huge, you know, enormous, very heavy, just something that big crashing into the ground would not cause a nuclear blast like that. So there's certainly a energy dispersal power of sorts, energy release that causes that blast that literally pulverized, made people into dust, made people disappear behind the energy blast. Um, so there's definitely a special power. It's not just him falling. Maybe it's the sum of things, but there's definitely a special power attached to the Colossal Titan. Yeah, incredible. And I take it that everyone except the small crew we saw at the end died, right? On this side of the wall inside Shiganshina, I think Aaron's crew were right there. It's all that's left. and they hinted, they teased us with Hanji's dad, but I don't think so. I don't think she's gonna go out like this. Through the episode here very quickly. I'm trying to remember anything worth discussing. I mean, it was incredible how Marco put things together so fast. Uh, he was very smart, very clever. It would have been nice to have him around still, but we saw Annie really struggling with the idea of taking part in it. Uh, she's definitely giving me the vibes of this being something that they didn't sign for. Uh, mm, it could be something. I mean, I don't know. They seem to be forced here. That's the vibe Annie is giving me, because of that flashback we had with her father. Her father was like heavily encouraging her to go out and take part in whatever it was that she should take part on, which is probably this mission. But it doesn't look like she came here out of her own volition. Maybe it's a program of child soldiers, people that are selected. Maybe if we think about that flashback with her dad, maybe it's something like there are poor families, poor people somewhere, and some regime takes uh, takes those children from those families and offer them maybe a better life condition, a better place to live, some money, whatever. And in exchange, they give out their kids to take part in this child soldier program, in which they end up becoming special shifter titans whose powers are given to them, and can be taken. Obviously, it's something that's probably not random at all. We saw in that scene with the beast titan talking to them like, I can take the beast titan away, I can take the armor titan away if you fail again, if you keep uh, interrupting the mission. So there's definitely uh, a military order to things, and the powers they have are definitely not at random. They're here organized in a mission that was established long ago, probably. And yeah, interesting to see the Beast Titan talking a lot. He he seems like the kind of he's not otherworldly evil. He seems like a practical dude on a mission, a true veteran, and he's not even like too rigid with his behavior. He had some breaking moments there, especially when drinking the hot stuff, the hot coffee or whatever. We got the confirmation basically that the quadrupedal titan, the the backpack titan, is intelligent. He was definitely scouting for them. I don't see a big deal there yet, but yeah, it's definitely some new person that we haven't seen yet. I think that can also turn into a titan. And very interesting, that Bertolt called off his attack. He broke the plans just to go out for Reiner, because he had this bond with Reiner. He was very attached to Reiner, and they had a very special scene in the beginning of the episode. So that's why I think it was at that moment that Bertold decided that he had to match Reiner's resolve, or at least match that willingness to go into the resolve, to pretend to have the resolve. I don't know. He might still hesitate at some point in the near future, but right now he turned into a titan. He's already destroying the city. I wager he's gonna do everything in his powers to finish it all right here and now. Once again, we had John uh, just being really the one that changed the most with the events of the first half of season. He's he's not acting. I don't know if he's act. It could be that he's acting, and those things are waiting on him, are heavy on his shoulders as well. But he's at least on the right mindset of Battlefield to just shake them off and pretend like they don't bother you, to push the agenda of your side. And Reiner's not dead. He's just there regenerating. He's gonna be up at any moment now. Yeah, it's interesting that moment when Armin and Bertolt were talking, because it's that this is totally not an anime in which the bad guys are gonna just flat out explain and expose their plans, expose their motivations, what their true goal is, what they're after. I mean, they know what they're after, but not why. And this is totally not an anime in which we're gonna get it. The answers for where they come from, why they came here, why they want to coordinate, all those things. I think they're gonna be spread out. Maybe it's different episodes, separate storylines. I don't know, or maybe the basement solves it all. Who knows? But they definitely we're not gonna talk about this. Attack on Titan is a very ground-based anime, and it's a very ground-based script, and it sure as hell wouldn't fit to have any of these characters. Even like if there there are some in some shows, movies, whatever, entertainment out there that takes that argument of, well, since my enemy is already on the verge of death, I might as well give him some answers. No, this is not gonna happen here. Not at all. Not at all. They these guys uh would rather do the final smash and finish whoever's about to die than to waste time with big claims, with speeches. This is just not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And it served as to reinforce that Bertolt was 100% in on the mindset of battle, on the mindset of not not giving in to any kind of hesitations or baits or emotional struggles. And we had that amazing fight with Mikasa, that little fight with Mikasa. Mikasa has been depicted so far as a machine, as a fighting machine. She's relentless, unstoppable, faster than anyone else. Of course, we're not counting Levi here, but yeah, and there's no talking about any matches to her. And we had this new Bertolt. They couldn't recognize him. They couldn't recognize the way he spoke. They couldn't recognize the way he acted. That's because he's committed. That's because now he's detached. He no longer has any connections to the things that were holding him back before. The Bertolt they knew was only a small part of a bigger person, of a bigger personality that was uh, that was kind of imprisoned by a role he was playing. He was being forced to play, but now he understands that he's fully released from it. even though he doesn't want to just throw his experiences all in the dump. He he understands that he has those things that will go with him forever, that those are part of him now, what he lived with his companions, that they are now dear to him as he expresses it, but it will not stop him from carrying out his duty. I mean, it's fine that we lived what the nice things we lived. It was good to be partners with you for a while, but now it's just it is what it is. This to convince someone to to go about like this, it takes some heavy conditioning. He he must believe very much, not necessarily in the cause, but in the need of him to carry out his duty. Uh, Much like Annie would believe very much to carry out her duty for whatever reasons she was doing it. I mean, she's not doing it for whatever political agenda or whatever made her come here. Um, but she's probably doing it for her father because she wants to go back home. Maybe she wants him to have a better life and be able to go back home to him someday. And Berthold is probably something like that as well. He he wants to he wants to have a chance with Annie, obviously. He he probably wants to fulfill his mission, save Reiner, and just get out of there. It was very important that moment when he spoke to Armin. I know you're not spawns of devil. I know you're not. None of you have done anything wrong, even though they were probably told so. They were probably told the opposite. Like that impersonation that Reiner does when he's like, "You're spawns of devil. You're an evil race or whatever." That's an impersonation that took him over. We don't even know if he necessarily believes it, but he does that uh, in a way to kind of convince himself and maintain this posture, this image. He wants to personify the duty. He wants to become a living image of the duty in order to convince himself and the others around him of what brought them here and what is their motivation. Um, but Bertolt is in a point that he's so detached, he's so practical at this point that he sees through it. We know that he doesn't believe it. That he We know that he even might consider that his reasons to be here, his political reasons to be here, to be to be very futile, to be stupid, to be ultimately ignorant. But he has his personal reasons. He has his personal goals, his wishes, and he cannot explain it. Each person carries a whole world in their stories, in their life stories, and it just cannot be spoken out like this. He just wants to carry it to the end and go back home. That was all very interesting, and the very fact that he was able to put on a fight against Mikasa shows me really well. That showed really well, amazingly good, that he is willing to go all the way to the end to carry out his mission, to do his duty, and be done with it. He's relentless now. He's brutal now. He's being equalized with Mikasa because Mikasa is constantly with that mindset, right? At that moment, they were equalized. They were on the same page, on the same ground, which is something amazing. I mean, obviously, he couldn't hold out in a longer fight against her, but he was able to protect himself. He was not surprised like he was in the last time in season 2 on top of the wall when he got his neck nearly cut off and he nearly got his head cut off. No, this time he was ready. This time he's in the same mindset as Mikasa. He's out there to fulfill his mission, to accomplish whatever he came here to accomplish, and he's not going to be taken down easily. He's going to flee if he has to. He's going to escape. He's going to use dirty tactics. He's going to use whatever is at his reach. Amazing. And yeah, now that he's become colossal, our guys here are pretty much at loss. It's one of the most dire situations they've ever been in. I have no idea how they're gonna get out of it. I have no idea. And I'm not gonna sit here and be conjecturing. I've already talked a lot. Uh, yeah, just I guess I'll just see it. Anyways, that's it. Bye.